Are we ready?
All right, ready.
No bras required. The podcast where two girlfriends talk about everything from diapers to death and do it all braless and brutally honest.
I'm Megan. I'm a mom of four, lifelong educator, dance studio owner, coffee and wine snob, and never afraid to speak my mind.
And I'm Patty, mom of three, teacher turned leader, dance boss, loud laughter, tequila enthusiast, and professionally unfiltered.
Together, we've got over 30 years in education, seven kids, two studios, countless bottles of wine and tequila, and a whole lot of stories to share with you.
What's no bras required all about? It's a space for women like us who are juggling life, entrepreneurship, parenting, work, marriage, friendship, grief, joy, chaos, and just need some real talk.
So, whether you're sipping wine in leggings, hiding in your car, or rage cleaning your kitchen, we're here for you. Hey, Patty.
Hey Megan, how you doing?
I'm freezing. Can you
Yeah, I
see?
see you have your winter jacket on.
I am in my winter. Well, this is my light winter coat. I do have one heavier than this, but we are on snow day number like 8,000, and
Okay.
that's very abnormal for us. We have an inch and a half of ice on the ground, and you can't plow
Ooh.
that. So,
Oh, you skate on it.
yeah, well, we don't have ice skates around here. And
Or
I
you
need,
bumper ski. Do you even
I,
know what bumper skiing is?
no, no, because I don't do the cold. I need you to tell your weather to come back home because she lost and she's drunk and she's in my front yard.
Yeah. We actually had to close the studio last Thursday because our power was out all day in town. And then on Tuesday, we had like 80 to 100-kilometer-an-hour winds. So it was like complete whiteout in some areas. They closed down Highway 16. There was something like 40 semis in the ditch, rolled over, you name it. It was so even us in Canada are having abnormal weather.
Yeah.
But let me explain bumper skiing to you because
Okay.
there was the Facebook groups,
Mm-hmm.
like local Facebook groups. So
Yeah.
somebody had posted this morning in one of our local Facebook groups. There's our school division has no school today because they're all in finals and whatever. Um, and there was a group of boys out joyriding in a car. So bumper skiing, for those of you that are from hot weather places, is when you hold the car door or you hold the bumper of a truck and you let your boots ski for you down the icy
Ah.
roads. Highly don't recommend it because people have actually lost their lives doing this. Um, yeah. So, anyways, this lady had posted a video of the boys out in their um, neighborhood doing this in the middle of the night because, of course, they were. They have no school tomorrow.
Right. They got to fill their time somehow.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could never do that here.
No. Well,
No.
you could now. You have all the ice, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Then ice
It's
doesn't
dangerous.
go anywhere. Like it just stays forever and ever. And now we have another snowstorm coming and I quit. Like I quit.
You're just giving up.
It'll
You're
be
just
the
giving up.
yeah. Yeah. It'll be
Oh,
the
buddy.
third Monday that we probably have to be out of the studio. And so we're gonna have to pivot to Google Meets.
Yeah.
COVID flashbacks happening right
Yeah.
now.
You
Um,
got to do what you got to
so
do.
we got to do what we got to do. So I'm like digging back into those COVID files to find
Yeah. Get those
all the
classes
things. Oh,
competition.
yeah.
Yes.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
It really
But
is.
I'm super excited for February
Yeah.
because
Right?
we have a really awesome topic.
Yeah.
All right. So
Show it to me.
January was all about being bold, right? And
Yeah.
finding the bolder you. And now we're going to find the stronger you and talk about your financial confidence as
Yes.
women. I'm excited.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. If it weren't so cold, I'd wear my money socks, but I have on my like super thick fuzzy socks.
I
Maybe,
will put I will put mine on next week.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe next time it'll be a little bit warmer and I can wear
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
But
I love
I
it.
know I was like, we needed like those dollar sign glasses for this episode.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, yeah. So we're gonna we're gonna talk about money, and this isn't meant to be shaming anybody or to make you feel bad about your situation. This is just real talk, talking about how most of us can coordinate schedules, lunches, sports bags, studio costumes, and emotional well being for an entire household. But we will avoid our banking app like it's a haunted house or reading your P&L statement if
Mhm.
you're business owners out there. Some of us avoid it at all costs. You get it from the accountant, you tuck it away, and you're like, uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not about what you should be doing with your money.
Right.
Okay. It's about the stories you've been telling yourself, getting
Yeah.
really into our mindset around money and the myths and the things
Yes.
that we have that are our roadblocks and whether they're actually true or not.
Yeah.
So you don't need a spreadsheet. We're not going to make you cut your lattes. You may want a glass of wine or tequila just
Yeah.
because money's always uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
we promise we'll be gentle with you.
Yeah. So let's start with some facts.
Yes. Ooh, I love it. Rapid fire facts.
Rapid fire facts. So 94% of women say they believe they'll be personally responsible for their finances at some point in their lives. Yet only half feel confident about their financial situation, and even fewer feel empowered to act.
Mm. So,
Right?
yep. Next fact. Many women are confident managing the day-to-day finances, like paying their
Yep.
bills and budgeting, but they feel less comfortable with the longer-term strategies like investing or in retirement planning.
Yeah. More than half of women say they don't feel they have enough income to adequately save for retirement, and a large portion lack substantial emergency savings.
Mhm. Women on average still earn less than men, typically around 83 to 85 cents of every dollar men earn. This ongoing gap compounds over time and affects savings, investments, and financial confidence.
Yeah. And a significant number of women saving for retirement in some years. Around 28% didn't contribute to retirement savings between 2024 to 2025, compared to fewer men.
Mm,
That's crazy.
yeah. So, some good news. According to new research, many women are prioritizing long term financial habits like savings and reducing spending to reach goals. Nearly two-thirds have a plan in mind, and many are cutting discretionary spending with purpose.
Yeah. And studies show that women tend to score lower on financial literacy tests. Now, this is not because they are less capable. Key point, not less capable, but because traditionally, historically, money has been taught to men more than women.
Mhm. But some more good news. Millennial women have increased their financial confidence significantly over the past several years, showing
Mhm.
that progress and empowerment are starting to happen.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's important to note part of why it's so important for women to understand their money and how they can create more of it is not only just so that you can have retirement savings and you're paying yourself first, all of the things that we're told. It can also come down to a safety issue. You are not stuck in an unsafe household, in an unsafe relationship dependent on a man and their income when you have some financial education behind you.
Yeah.
Like that traps a lot of women in some unsafe situations. They tolerate more than they should because of this. So, really hoping these episodes help women to first just take notes, realize where their gaps are, and hopefully give them a little bit of a starting point towards some financial literacy.
Yeah, and hopefully too, we have some younger listeners who this will start them off on the right foot and
Yeah,
understanding, oh, I should know about these things. I should look into these things. I should take the time to understand what my money is, where it goes, how I can use it to benefit me in all the ways. I mean, I was really impressed. My niece was here over Christmas, and I know she listens. So, yeah, hey, Kaylee.
hey
Um,
Kaylee.
but she was here over Christmas, and we had an awesome conversation about investing, about building businesses, about building your credit. Like she and her fiance Sam, they're doing the research, they're doing the work, they're figuring it out.
Yeah,
Um, I guarantee they weren't taught it in school. Like they're having to do it on their own. But it's really refreshing to see this generation knowing at such a young age. I mean, they're early 20s and
yeah,
just out of college that, oh, this is important and we should start now and not
yeah,
waiting until our generation, which some people still haven't started.
yeah. Well, because it's like practicing any skill. The sooner you start, the better off and the stronger you will be in the end.
Yeah.
So it's the sooner you can start to put a little bit away that you don't touch and you understand the importance of it, the sooner you are getting towards that compound interest working on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
and
Should we get into some? Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
well, and I was going to say, I mean, and let's be honest, when we're talking about finances, it's completely different for this new generation than it is for us.
Yeah.
And, my parents bought their house in 1985, I believe, for like $89,000.
Yeah.
Their house now would probably be 10 times that amount.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it has completely changed, and the game is so different for kids now that as parents, we need to understand how we can do well with money and like what we should be doing, but also how to have those conversations with our kids and
Yeah.
help them navigate how crazy it is right now.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So I think first thing is money is a very direct reflection of you and
Hmm.
how you feel about it. So like money and the mirror of money reflects much more than numbers. It reflects your beliefs, your fear, your identity, and your worth, like what you think you deserve. And
Yes.
it's rarely just math, it is highly emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. It mirrors how safe, capable, and enough we feel, which I
Yes.
think is really hard to hear because until you can acknowledge it, name it to tame it, right?
Yeah.
So until you can name it and you can tame it and you really take the time, it's almost like needing to go to therapy to go through all of your beliefs around money
Yeah.
and figure out what is true, what is not, what you can control, what you can't control, where your fears are, how
Yeah.
you see yourself, you're never going to make progress.
Yeah.
It's we got to dig through the muck before we can start to build on something.
Yeah.
Um, Usually your avoidance of money and dealing with money and planning with money is not because you're lazy. It's your way of protecting yourself.
Yeah. 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 I heard an interesting thing the other day that, especially for women, money is very closely related to how you feel about and handle power.
Ooh.
I know, and I was like that kind of caught my interest. But they said we all know the woman that doesn't want to be in charge of anything that will help out,
Hmm.
right? And having money, having your own accounts, having that financial literacy is a lot the same thing. If we run from it all the time, we're giving our power away to other people to tell us the outcomes that we're able to have, as opposed to going, no, no, this is what I believe I deserve for but the work that I put in. This is what I believe I want to hit for my targets. These are the results I choose to get. And then going back and self-reflecting as you go through the process of earning, of pay raises, of paying yourself first, of what percentage of that is it going to be every month or every paycheck. It really tells a story of what you feel you're worth
Hmm.
and what you're capable of controlling. Because I think we also know the person that like makes really good money but never has anything to show for it at the end of the day because they just blow it all.
Yeah. There's no plan.
There's no plan, or the plan is look at how much stuff I have. But it's like, but
Right. Yeah.
what do you have a home to put it in? Are you able to take a trip with your family? Do you sleep at night, or are you always worried about the next emergency that's going to wipe your family out?
Right. Well, and I think we talk about it in school, but there's a poverty mindset and it's a cycle.
Yeah,
And so I think a lot of us, I know you and I've had this conversation multiple times. We grew up in families that were comfortable. I mean,
yeah,
I'd say I had a comfortable childhood, but
yeah.
we did not have a lot of disposable income.
Income. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
It was my mom stayed home for the most part. She did go back to work when I was in middle school. Um, my dad worked full time. There were four of us to take care of. I mean, my parents were able to pay for me to do dance. They were able to,
yeah,
do sports and stuff with my brother and my sister. But we weren't taking these big family trips like to Disney World all the time or, all of these different places. Every once in a while, we got to do something that was
yeah,
different than going and visiting family, but things could get really tight at times.
yeah, yeah,
And I think we always lived in that. I remember growing up and thinking, well, there's just never enough money. It wasn't like, oh, let's go shopping for back to school. It was, well, you get this much money to
yeah,
spend. Like if you want that Gap sweatshirt, then
yeah,
you're not getting all the other things. Like we shopped at Kmart and we shopped at, you know, JC Penney and you had to make do in Sears. Like it wasn't name brand stuff. And that's
yeah,
not to say that, like I said, I had a very comfortable childhood, but
yeah,
we definitely grew up in that like there isn't enough
yeah,
mindset. And so either you learn from that or you get money and you then want all the things you didn't have as a kid. And I
yes,
see that a lot with people
yeah,
that it's like,
yeah,
oh, now I've got money and I can get this and that. And I never had these things and I can buy
yeah,
the name brand and I can do, and it's like keeping up with the Joneses because they want to put on this facade like they
yeah,
have all of this money and they really don't. And now they're drowning in debt. They've
yeah,
overspent themselves. Their budget is a disaster. And and they're struggling because they can't figure
yeah,
out how to undo it.
yeah. Let's talk about some key phrases. Like in my household, because as you said, like we were raised very similar. Like we had what we needed. We didn't always have what we wanted. And
Right.
in my house, like I remember my parents saying, that's a need or that's a want, not a need. Or
Mhm.
another one, money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
And I remember actually saying to my parents once, yeah, it does, because trees make paper.
Of course you did. Of course you
Of course
did,
they did.
Patty.
Like I was like, yeah, it does. But it was a very scarcity mindset.
Yes. Yes.
But our parents were raised by depression baby parents,
Correct.
right? Like we didn't throw out margarine containers or the lids because you might need that one day. It's like, but 40 of them?
I mean, I know people who still to this day will keep their cups, their plastic cups from McDonald's or the
Yeah.
container, the salad containers from like Chick-fil-A and then store them and they're like, well, it's free Tupperware. I just wash it. And I'm like, it's
Yep.
meant to be used one time. It probably has all kinds of stuff in it. But like, that's that depression mindset of,
Yep.
well, don't waste it. Don't throw it
Yep.
away. I mean, how many times do you remember
Yeah.
your mom making like a dinner and then you have leftovers and it turned into another dinner and another, and soon it was like mystery, whatever, because like we were not going to waste that.
No. And you had to clear your plate because there's starving kids in Africa.
Yes.
I never understood that one.
I didn't
How did
either.
we are we sending it to them? Like what? I don't understand. Like,
I know. I know. It's too funny.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Did
But
your parents have any sayings?
oh, definitely the money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
We had a lot of wants versus needs conversations.
Yeah.
Um, the Yeah, I mean, I think those were pretty common. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of other ones. I know the ones that weren't spoken, but I felt like were inherited. My mom always did the budget. My mom was like the budget
Yep.
person.
Yep.
And
Mine
so,
too.
yeah, she kept the budget. She kept the household running. I remember she would get so mad. And I find myself repeating a lot of these patterns, but
Yeah.
like I kept the budget for a really long time in our marriage and then went to grad school and was like, Mike, it's yours. Like I'm done. I
Yeah.
can't. And then I remember when I did that and I texted you and the girls and I was like, y'all, if something happens to me, I need you to help him because
Yep. I
like
remember that.
the lights may or may not stay on. I was like, he doesn't even know how to add anything to the banking account. But it had been over 20 something years since he'd had to pay bills. So,
Yeah.
banking changed. Last time he paid bills on his own, we were writing checks and put them in the mail.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, where do I do this? And I was like, online.
Yeah.
It was just,
Nobody's writing checks anymore.
no, I know. Poor man. He had like a baptism by fire on that. But I do remember like my mom would get so mad at my dad for going to the grocery store. And I think this is a wife versus husband thing anyway, just because
Yeah.
I find myself in the same way. Like you have the budget for the groceries for the week, you send them and you're like, we need milk and we need eggs and I need you to pick up a thing of bagels. Like, right? Like the three things that you need them to do at the grocery store. And so in your mind, they're leaving the grocery store with probably 25, $30 now
Yeah.
for those things. Somehow you look on the online banking, and this was, for my parents, he'd come home with the receipt. And actually, he'd come home with like 5 bags of groceries. And my mom's like, what? Like, what in the world? He was like, well, I found this and I found that. And I think we needed this. And I picked up
Yep.
some ice cream. And, my mom's
Yeah.
like, no. She would get so mad because it wasn't in the budget. It wasn't, what she had planned for. And Mike does the same thing. I'm like, how in the hell did you come back from the grocery store when I asked for three things and you spent $150? Like, what? Like, how? Did you buy like premium eggs laid by the golden goose? Like, what is happening? Um, yeah. Oh,
Yes. It's so funny. When my grandfather passed, my grandma had never had a bill in her name.
oh,
She helped pay the bills for like they were married for over 40 years, but she had no credit. And I remember my mom telling me when I got married, you make sure your name is on those bills so that you're building up a line of credit for yourself that you can show you can pay a bill. And I was like, what? And then she told me about the trouble that grandma had
hmm.
because everything was in grandpa's name. She paid the bills, but it was all in his name. And so how she struggled afterwards. Um, then fast forward when my mom passed away, my mom looked after everything, just like you said. My dad had no idea what their household budget, bills, anything were. And I had to really help him. Like I made up budget sheets for him because he was scared. He was worried that he would mess it up. And I'm like, okay, dad, like you got here's the lines for your income, here's the lines for your expenses. And like to this day, this binder is like this thick
Oh,
because
that's still a binder.
he did not throw out any bills.
Mm,
He kept them to prove that he had
paid.
done it. But he did, but I said to him, like, well, what do you mean you don't know? And he goes, well, your mom just gave me my monthly allowance, and that's what I was allowed to spend.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh Lord,
Yeah.
oh Lord.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like so now with Todd and I, when we first got married, I paid all of the bills and he was the main earner. We've kind of switched spots now because he's working at the studio with me. He looks after the household budget. I look after the studio budget. But I'm the one that's now stopping at the grocery store unaware of the budget. And I'm like, it's after work. I'm snacking. I'm gonna like, buy more things and I get in trouble when I get home. Why did you buy more of this? It's like, I want blueberries in my yogurt in the morning. That's not crazy. Like,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's not in the plan. So I think it's really funny how at different times in your life, at different times in your marriage with your partner, how much that can shift.
Yes. And
Yeah.
isn't it funny how, I mean, I remember Mike and I going through pre-marriage counseling, and
Yeah.
a lot of it was like, how are you going to handle money? How are you going to do
Yeah.
this? Or have your joint bank account. You need to talk about
Yeah.
money. But, we have all these ideals of what money in a relationship looks like. And then there's the reality of how it works.
Yeah.
And it is hard. It's hard
Yeah.
to find the time to sit down, to have the conversations every single week, to have both people fully in the loop of what's going on. And it's
Yeah.
really, really easy to fall into that pattern of you take care of these bills and the household budget, because we're kind of the same way. I'm
Yeah.
handling the studio with all my other things going on. He handles the household budget and
Yeah.
bills and takes care of the house. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of how we've separated it right now.
Yeah.
And there are definitely times where I'm like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you pay this instead of like not instead of
Yeah.
this, but like why'd you pay this much on this and not pay this, like I
Yeah.
would have done it differently.
Yeah.
And so it's something like even 25 years of marriage, we're still having to work on it.
Oh Lord. Well, and then imagine if you come from a family where we don't talk about money.
Right.
That's considered rude, bad etiquette, whatever. And your partner is trying to talk to you about money to find out. And I think that's why so many people, especially women, if their families didn't talk about it around the dinner table, they didn't give them cues on what to do or how to build a financial portfolio. They just go whatever you want to do.
Right. Someone else can
So that
handle
you're
it. Yeah.
yeah, you get whatever you think, honey. And so that's where a lot of women get themselves into trouble because they have no idea of the household expense, of what it takes to run a house. Um, how much do we have in the bank? And you hear about it, but it's usually when things go sideways. There's a divorce, there's a death, there's some like injury or accident where the spouse can no longer work. And it's not just in traditional households where the husband goes to work and the wife stays home. Like this is largely both are out working, but only one has the financial literacy of the household.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that I mean, if this is you, if you're like, oh my God, like, hello, you're talking about me. It's not that you didn't miss the lesson.
No,
The lesson was never offered to you.
yeah,
And so now it's time to make sure you're smart, you're capable, and that you are building your confidence in all things financial literacy and even just a basic understanding,
Yeah.
right? Because we're often taught how to manage other people and how to
Yeah.
manage everyone else
Yeah.
and take care of the kids, but not how to manage our own finances. I mean, and
Yeah.
maybe you took that course in high school where you were like, okay, accounting in and out and credit versus debit, which was always confusing to me. But
Yeah.
like, I was like, can it just be plus and minus? Like, why do we got to call it like credit and debit? Like that, just plus and minus. But, you
Yeah.
know, that was probably about it, was balancing a checkbook
Yeah.
and what goes in and what goes out and
Yeah.
do the basic math. And it's just addition and subtraction. But, you start getting into interest rate and, well, if I invest this, how much does it grow and compound interest? And yeah, that
Yeah.
became like calculus. And so you're like, I won't worry about that. But that's where we find ourselves in trouble.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, you don't know the questions to ask if you don't have the right people trying to help you learn.
Mm,
And that's one thing I love. Like, we've got our financial investor,
hmm
and I took my daughter to him. Actually, I brought him in to talk to my staff at the studio because we are largely creatives. We don't do P&L statements or knowing our financial independence number or how much insurance is enough insurance and how do I get out of paying insurance where I've got enough put away, I don't need it. And he came in and ran a few numbers for everybody, but the one I loved because he was talking to, I had invited the assistant teachers and the junior teachers, and he showed them how, and he said, if you can delay gratification, and he goes, that is the hardest part for your generation, for people your age, because everybody wants it now. But he showed them if you can delay gratification, and he let them pick a car off the lot. Like, and he went to the websites and pulled up the numbers. And so I think one of them wanted like a Dodge Charger, like a muscle car. And I don't remember how much it was. But he's like, okay, so this is your monthly payment if you have zero down. So he goes with the financing for 5 years. And I can't remember what the payment was. But he said, if you took that amount and you invested it for the 5 years, after 5 years, you can go buy that car off the lot and owe nothing. Or you can finance it, take the payment out every month of your investment to pay off the car. And he goes, and you have almost doubled your money by the time you get to that car being paid off. And he's like, all you have to do is delay gratification for 5 years, which I mean, most kids could do during school if you've got public transit. But he's like, you have to realize when you say yes to that, you're saying no to this.
right.
And it was such a great conversation. Like, if I sat down and he did this with me, he's like, how much do you spend at like Tim Hortons or on lattes a month? And I'm like, no, we're not going there. We're not going to Patty's Latte Fund. But I mean, he planted a seed and I did think about it. And I'm like, dang, over time, and that's the thing, we think it's such a little amount, but and it's like, yes, it is. But over time, that adds up to great things.
hmm
And yeah, like it was a really great example for him to show the kids. The other thing he did is around a second scenario where, okay, you're already used to making this payment. So keep making that payment. So as you finance the car, you're taking a payment out of your investment every month to pay the payment on it, but you keep making the payment into your investment because you're used to making it now. You will never have to save to buy another car again for the rest of your life. And it was almost like, I think in 10 years, it was enough for a down payment on a house as well
Oh, wow.
in today's market. So it's crazy how fast, when you start early, that compound interest can really put you leaps and bounds forward.
Yeah. Well, and think about, I mean, I think about for us how impactful that lesson would have been when
Right?
we were younger.
Yeah.
And, I think we were taught balance your checkbook,
Yeah.
put your 5 to 7% into your 401k. Like that was you do this.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. And, and then you can live off of what you had. And it wasn't, you need this amount, let's try
Yeah.
that again. In an emergency fund. Wow, that was hard to say. It's also hard to do.
Yeah.
Like save this much for your kids' college. But also, I mean, and we've talked about this. We, when we started out, everything was so much cheaper,
Yeah.
so much cheaper. And I
Yeah.
think even for us now, like we're not looking at oh, we have to go buy a house and, it's this crazy amount of money, but we're looking at, can we pay for our kids to go to college? What do you
Yeah.
mean college is $30,000 a year?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the cheap end
Yeah.
of it. Like,
Yeah.
it was maybe 10, just like 15 years ago. Like, how in the world are
Yeah.
we up this high? Like, who has saved this much for their kids to go to college? Now, what do you do? Do you
Yeah.
take on the debt? Do you tell them to delay their
Yeah.
gratification, and like have that not instant gratification, but you've got to delay it so that you can go the cheaper route and save? Like, what is the better way to go? And that's a hard conversation for all of us when we've always sold to our kids, like, go to the 4 year university. You're going to a 4 year university. And now we're like, oh, just kidding. I might need you to
Yeah.
go to the 2 year and then you can work your way up to the 4 year because nobody can afford it. These
Right.
days looking at houses, and a house is starting at $300,000,
Yeah.
but they're coming out of school making maybe 50.
Yeah.
That's
And
not
all of the student loan debt that goes with it.
right. And that's not the 3 times your income rule anymore.
No. No.
So it's really, like, I think it's great that you did that for your kids. I think it's something that everybody needs, like in terms that they can understand,
Yeah.
not the jargon, not the like,
Yeah.
like I said, principal and interest and credit and debit and blah, 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 but like real life terms.
Yeah.
Plus, minus. Take this amount, put it into this high yield savings account every month for this many years, and then you can do this. Like, and
Yeah.
it's a written out, like step by step plan. Because, I mean, who knew? Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it's important too to teach your kids, or like just even for women, if the people you're working with, so if you've got an investment person at your bank and they're not explaining things to you in words that you can understand, go find somebody who will. Go to like the private investment firms. Go to keep looking until you find somebody that respects you enough and wants you to understand, because they are out there, but you might have to do some digging to look for them. But just like we get excited about seeing kids' faces light up, learning a new step in the dance studio, there are financial advisors out there that are the exact same. Like they are educators at heart, they just deal with money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if they're talking down to you, like, is that really who you want to have helping you? Because are they looking after your best interests?
Right. And I think I'll say finding the people who are not going to just sit there and preach at you,
Yeah.
like that understand that life happens. There are
Yeah.
things that are going to happen that you have to take care of that you didn't plan for. And
Yeah.
while you are trying to get yourself on the right foot, sometimes you don't always have that money there.
Yeah.
They're not going to like scream and yell at you because you had to put this car repair on a credit card and now you're behind on getting out of
Yeah.
your credit card debt. Like,
Yeah.
was it ideal? No, but
Yeah.
It's not like you're going out shopping and buying a new Louis Vuitton purse and, those kinds of things. And like it sucks, but you need somebody who's going to be like, "Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So here's where we are and here's where we need to go."
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, there are those people out there that are the educators at heart that are going to help you come up with a plan. And
Yeah.
the sooner you do it, the better, but it's never too late. I think that's the big thing too.
Um, should we get into how motherhood changes money conversation too?
Yes.
Because it is deeply emotional,
Oh, yeah, it is.
and it quite often it is like there's that security pressure, like what if something happens? Are we prepared? Will my kids be looked after if something happens to me? And that's having like your will in effect, your assets lined up, like and somebody knowing what to do with it, what your wishes are in the event that you can't speak for yourself.
Yeah. There's also the guilt too. Like, am I doing
Yep.
enough for them? And, think about it. How hard
Yeah.
is it when your kid is asking for the Lululemon whatever or oh God, I don't know. I mean, all the things that are they want the newest Jordans or they want this and that and you're like,
Yeah.
I can't I can't do that right now. We can't
Yeah.
afford that.
Yeah.
Look at the Old Navy stuff. You can get it for
Yeah.
$15 versus a
Yeah.
hundred, and having
Yeah.
that money value conversation. But then you have the mom guilt because you see their friends driving that brand new car or wearing the name brand clothes or going to whatever university and you just can't. And
Yeah.
but I challenge you on that thought process of are you the one being honest with your kids and having those important conversations where the friends' parents are digging themselves deeper and deeper into debt, not having the important conversations with their kids, and they're setting their kids up for
Yes.
failure with money later on?
Yes. I was gonna say I have a student whose mom, like she wanted to do more and more classes, which I love. Like obviously I love that. She's at the studio, she's a great customer, she wants to do more. But mom said to her, that's not in our family budget. But instead of saying no, gave her ideas on things she could do to earn the money that mom was willing to help her with. So, and you got to sample some of it when you came for my birthday, like those cookies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she made a little side hustle out of making these amazing sugar cookies. She's got a great little business now where she's got regular customers, but she's paying for her own dance classes. And
So
the thing that I
smart.
love about it is once she started, not that she messed around in class a whole lot either, but now she's got some skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
She knows the value of a dollar. She knows how hard you have to work to pay for that class. And her attitude is different than a lot of her peers because her mom didn't say no, but said, this is what I could do to help you.
Yeah.
But you're going to have some skin in the game. And this kid is like so responsible and really takes charge of a lot of things in a very mature way. And I think more parents would really empower their kids by instead of no or money doesn't grow on trees, going, that's not in our budget, but I'd like to help you figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. So we've had that same conversation.
Yeah.
We've got kid number two heading off to college
Yeah.
and looking at where she wants to go and kind of the new restrictions on college and what we know
Yes.
our budget is, um, and what we can help her with. We're having to have some difficult conversations of, all
Yeah.
right, here is what we can borrow and what we can pay for
Yeah.
college. If you choose to go here, you need to understand you're only going to have help for this amount of time.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to pay for this. And you need to
Yeah.
really understand how much it's
Yeah.
going to be, what it's going to be for you to borrow, how much work you're going to have to do
Yeah.
to earn that money. And
Yeah.
then you're looking at going to grad school. Okay, that's going to be even more of an expense. Like, do you want to start your life $100,000 in debt?
Yeah.
You've got some choices to make and understand, like, we can only help you up to this point. What is your plan?
Yeah.
And it's a hard conversation to have with an 18-year-old who has really big dreams and really
Yeah.
wants to, have the ideal and do all the things. And it's like, but there's a limited amount of money and what we can do. And we're not going to sacrifice our retirement, our security, your brother's
Yeah.
ability to have
Yeah.
food in the house and those kinds of things because, you want to go to this specific college. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I get it. Like I get how hard it is, but I
Yeah.
also know that when they're faced with these difficult choices and they're making an informed decision, you are helping them grow and be more financially literate.
100%. Also, it's okay for kids to learn to want because that's how they learn to work.
Right.
Like when they're given everything they could ever want, they don't most don't appreciate it. And I don't mean that in the, like they don't appreciate it from an understand like a fundamental understanding of what the cost or the value is.
Yeah.
And it leads to that not all are entitled, but a large amount are. They think they deserve it or they like this is just mine. And it's like, why?
Yeah. And I think too, teaching kids the value of a dollar. What
Yes.
does hard work mean? Um,
Yeah.
we always took the philosophy of there's work that is done in the house that is you being a part of the family. Like we
Yeah.
didn't pay for chores. That is your
Yeah.
contribution to the household because we all live here together
Yeah.
and like you're not going to get paid to do housework and to do your household chores when you're older.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sadly, I'd be rich. But
Right.
there's no money fairy coming around and being like, here you go, you did laundry. Here's
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah.
So like we always that was one thing that we did not do. We don't pay for
Yeah.
grades because that's an expectation that you are
Yeah.
going to do the best that you can in school. That is your job. And there is an expectation that, you know, you're going
Yeah.
to do well. You're going to study and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to go above and beyond, then we would pay them.
Yeah.
And, so whether they wanted to work at the studio or they wanted to do extra things like,
Yeah.
hey, we can help paint the fence. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I'll pay you $5 an hour or whatever it was to
Yeah.
paint the fence because that means I don't have to pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
It's those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Where then they learned, oh my gosh, this is like really hard work. And that
Yeah.
$60 video game I wanted, I had to work my tail off to earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, you did. So here
Yeah.
you go. Um, I think those are all great things to do with kids. And it's it's hard. It's so hard being a parent and having to have those conversations with money because I think for most people who are listening, money isn't just, in abundance for everybody. Like there
Yeah.
are months where you're sitting there trying to figure out how am I going to make this happen and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like we overspent here or we have this and that we have to pay and I wasn't expecting this bill and I mean, we
Yeah.
all kind of play that have to play that game sometimes and it's hard.
Yeah. I always we were taught about the incidentals. Like
Mhm.
you have money aside for incidentals, but then we were taught to also have an accidental account. And that's for when something else happens that month and the incidentals won't
I'm
cover
gone.
the accidentals. It's like but it is kind of it's a preparation of your mindset, right? Truly, of you're going to have incidental months, you're going to have accidental months, and they're going to suck and things are going to be tight. And maybe you don't get to have all the lattes you want to have that month because this happened, so that can't.
Right.
Um, One thing we did with our kids when it came to cell phones,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to just give them a cell phone because to me it was a very adult thing they were getting to do. And the consequences of the cell phone were also adult in my parenting philosophy. So we told the kids that we would pay half of what it should cost. Then if they went over in data, if they went into apps and bought things they shouldn't be buying, that was on their dime. And they were like, we're in grade 7, nobody'll hire us. And I'm like, and it was a speaker and I can't remember who it was, but they said if you are a business owner, you have one of the greatest tools at your disposal for your children. Let them sit in on interviews, which I thought, oh my God, could you imagine Dylan and Nate sitting in on interviews?
I
I'm
want
like,
to be in there when they do that.
I either wouldn't get anybody to take the job or they would weed out the riffraff in a hurry. But they said, like, you can't teach your kids that skill. Like, as much as you can let them see that skill, like how somebody walks in, how they answer questions. And I was like, you know what? This is real, actually. Um, but he also said when they have all the wants, you can hire them as your janitors.
Yep.
And so when they wanted cell phones, they also became probably the worst janitors I'd ever
Oh
had.
my God. Aren't they the worst? They are the
They're
worst
so bad.
employees ever. Ever. Like you
But
definitely have to give up your standards to hire
well,
them.
but see, and I didn't give up my standard, but what I said is if that's the job you're going to do, the rate that we agreed on is no longer
There you
what
go.
you're getting. Now, you can't do that with real staff.
No.
You actually have to pay them. But with your children, it's a great way to also teach them how to be good workers. Are
Yep.
you going to make it, are you going to be easy to work with? Are you somebody I would want to have on my team later? And I love how it turned out with them because they don't call in sick. They show up and run shifts for other people and coworkers. Like they both have very good jobs with employers that appreciate what they're bringing to the table. And I'm proud that that's how they've shown up and turned out.
Yes. Yeah. And I being a business owner
Yeah.
and dealing with people.
Uh-huh. Do we have time for this episode, Megan?
I think so. I mean, I'm just gonna like put it out there.
No, I
We've
know,
been
I know.
talking about like all of these things of, I
Yeah.
think one of the big things I see with this generation of parents is a lot of avoidance.
Yes.
Avoidance with paying the bills, avoidance they get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're afraid to have the honest conversation of I'm in one of those incidental months or those we're even in the accidental part of the incidental month. Like we're in a mess. Help, right? They just quit, ghost, don't want to talk about it, avoid it completely, or they get themselves in so much of a mess that they can't even climb out of it. And
Yeah.
it's concerning. It's really,
Yeah.
really concerning
Yeah.
because it's not just a couple anymore. It's a lot of them. It's a
Yeah.
lot of them. And but they're the ones coming in with the lattes. They're the ones coming in with their nails done, their hair done, their the designer bag, and I'm like, ooh, you are struggling with the value of a dollar and how to budget accordingly. And, this is like spending on a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you don't just know you're not able to say no to your child. You can't say no to yourself.
Yeah, like there's deeper psychological issues there, but isn't that really a lot of what goes on with money?
Yep.
Is until you can get to the deeper psychology of it
Yeah.
and your relationship with money, you can't change those habits and fix what's gone on.
Yeah.
So, I think really talking about this month, how we're not talking about getting control or being greedy or
No.
here's the next hustle and being part of hustle culture. Good Lord. I'm
English
struggling.
is hard.
It
English is
really
hard.
is. It really is. But, I mean, it's not like, hey, go and get in this next multi-level marketing scheme and sell and do this and end up
Yeah.
on the LuLaRoe like documentary for the crazy people, right? Like,
Yeah.
selling
Yeah.
some leggings. But, it's really about just redefining your relationship with money and how you can make choices and giving you some stability and maybe some
Yeah.
breathing room
Yeah.
and some options and feeling less afraid with it because it's never about having more. You're never going to have enough money. I mean, maybe if you win the lottery, but even people who win the lottery are miserable. Like you watch those, if you've ever been bored, go watch those like TLC shows where it's like, I won the
Oh God.
lottery and I hate my life, right? And they all blow it, they lose it.
Yeah. In no time. Yeah. Well, and people don't avoid money because they're irresponsible. I believe, like, if you keep repeating it, yes, you are irresponsible and you need help. But most people avoid it because no one taught them how to feel calm with it or how to coexist
Right.
either with the power when you're flush with it or the lack of power when you're not.
I think it comes down to having a plan.
Totally.
Do you have a plan?
Yeah.
And the plan is not always going to work every single month. It's not always going to work every single year. It's not about sitting here and balancing your budget every single day and like it becoming your all consuming everything.
Yeah.
But even a basic plan will help a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
And, so I think people need first, we got to fix the mindset, right? You're not bad with money. You're not behind
Yeah.
and you are not broken.
Yeah.
You just were never taught to feel confident with it. You were
Yeah.
only taught to survive with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And confidence can be learned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So this week, because we are
Yep.
diving into this all month, yay.
Yeah.
Like I said, get your wine, get your tequila,
Yep.
maybe get a piece of paper and a pencil and write
Yep.
some things down. But this week, your homework is just to notice your money story without judgment. No
Yep.
fixing it, no action steps yet, no anything, just be aware.
Yeah.
When do you find that you want to shop? Is it because you're scrolling on Facebook on Saturday morning, laying in bed, and then you get tempted by all the things in the algorithm? Is
Yeah.
it when you're bored? Is
Yeah.
it because you felt bad? You had a bad day at work, so you use shopping as a therapy? Is
Yeah.
it, I don't know, whatever it is. But think about like, what did you learn about money growing up?
Yeah. What emotions show up when I think about it?
Mm. And what story am I repeating that might not be mine? We talked about that earlier.
Yeah. And then awareness is your first flex.
Right. So we're just getting aware this month or this week, not this month. We'll be doing more than that, but just
Yeah.
this week. So if today's episode stirred something, curiosity, discomfort, probably relief, that's a good sign. It means you're starting to look at money not as something to fear, but something to understand.
Yeah. And this month, we're not chasing perfection. We're building confidence slowly, honestly, and without shame.
So next week, we'll talk about what it actually means to feel financially confident, even if your numbers aren't perfect yet. And we're so excited because
Yeah.
we're going to have our very first guest on the podcast. I'm so excited.
Me too. Me too. So thank you for being here, for being brave enough to look in the mirror, and for remembering that growth doesn't start with answers. It starts with awareness. And we'll see you next time on No Bras Required.
Bye, y'all. Our goal for this podcast is to be that village where we can have those deeper conversations. We can talk about the serious things and walk each other home from diapers to death and all the things that come in between, but also to bring the humor and our crazy squirrel moments and all of our funny stories that we've lived from parenting to entrepreneurship to just being us and the adventures that we come up with. But we want to build a community and be those people to give you some sound advice that, you know, maybe makes you giggle a little bit every once in a while.
So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, share with your favorite hot mess mom friends, and give us a follow on Instagram at No Bras Required Pod.
Every week, we'll drop a new episode tackling everything from marriage and mom guilt to leadership and loss with humor, heart, and maybe a little tequila or wine. So bring your favorite drink and join us every week.